Well, good morning. And thank you all for being here on a Friday morning. Weekend vibes have already started to kick in, and you decided to be here for this free webinar. So, hi, I am Shaktivel, Manager of Institutional Accounts. Let's dedicate the next hour for solving the problems that we have for the incubators. I would like to keep this session as interactive as possible. So open the chat box and respond. Let's see from where and all we have the incubators here for this session. Please type the name of the city in the chat box. Let's go. We have Henish from Rajkot. We have Dinesh Kumar from Chennai. And then we have Lalan Zira from Aivaz. Aizawal and Soumya from Trichy, Dr. Abhishek Singh from Varanasi, Inyavan from Chennai, Shankar from Tiruchengodu, Shweta from Hyderabad, Philip Sridhar Raj from Karunya, Umesh from DBATU. We have Sachin from Mathura. Thank you so much all for the responses. Uh, So before we begin, we are seeing that we have representation from all across India, from different cities and different places. Let's see if these questions actually relate to you. Have you ever felt like your incubator is doing really good work, but you actually do not have real way to prove if it's better or worse than the incubator next door? Have you ever had a strong startup walk into your program and you realized only months later that that startup wasn't the right fit for your incubator? Is your incubator currently more dependent on government grants than you would like it to be? If these relate to you, you are in the right room. From the representation here, we'll be soon launching a Zoom poll. You can actually respond. The Zoom poll has been launched, so you can go ahead and start responding. We already have our first response. And people have responded. We have more to go. We'll be closing the poll in another 10 seconds. We have 20 responses already out of 41. I'll be closing it in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we can end the poll. Yes. Let's see how many. Let's see. Okay, we have 96% have responded yes for the first question, and for the second, almost 67%, and for the third, almost 80% of you responded yes. So, yes, now we understand that this is a universal problem for incubators, and you are in the right room because we have been thinking on how to solve these problems for you. Thank you so much for trusting us with your time because the responses that you gave actually helped us frame this entire webinar and the outline for the webinar. So there are some incubators who have actually registered with your entire team. Thank you so much. So what's in it for you? In 16 minutes, we'll try to answer as many challenges as possible faced by the incubator and provide you with the knowledge on how to tackle that challenge. And these are the top queries, keywords of your top queries that we saw on our platform. And as gratitude, we have free giveaways towards the end of the session. We have got three things we are going to give away. One of them would actually directly help your incubator gain visibility in the ecosystem. And I'll tell you at the very end, not now, so you will want to stay till the close. If you have any questions during the session, you can type them in the chat box and we will take them everything towards the end one by one. So first of all, who are we? We are an information powerhouse. We save time, effort, and cost with the most comprehensive, up-to-date insights across startups, founders, incubators, angels, VCs, governments, agencies, and banks. Our mission is actually very simple. We want to make the startup journey easier for founders, for incubators and institutions, and also for everyone building them. And we have been creating this information powerhouse for 9 years now. And the mastermind behind all this is our founder, Professor Tile Rajan. He's the founder of Vinos Venture Engine, and he's also Crest. He's the head of Crest IIT Madras, and he is also a professor of Department of Management Studies, IIT Madras. Let me introduce myself. I am Shaktivel, manager of institutional accounts here, and I am an alumnus of IIM Trichy. So when I worked as a management consultant in an international company for 2 years. Then I realized I had to do something for the startup ecosystem, and that's why I'm here, and I'm here to help you through your journey. Okay, we are here now. When did this event, the term called incubation, even start? And this is very interesting. It started in a chicken farm. In 1959, in a small town of Batavia, New York, a businessman named Joseph Mancuso, he bought a defunct farm equipment warehouse, one that used to host chicken incubators. So he didn't know what to do with the overall space, and so he rented small parts of it to other business people, and he also gave free advice. So people actually started joking, saying that he was incubating businesses in a similar way that the earlier farm used to incubate chickens. So that's how we got the world's first business incubator, Batavia Industrial Center. So, how did the story start in India? So, it started formally it was started formally by the Department of Science and Technology when it started a National Science and Technology Entrepreneurship Development Board to answer one single question: how do we stop good research from dying in university labs? This started in 1982. And later, the first incubator was started in India. Can you guess where it was? It is in REC Tiruchirappalli. Now it is called as NIT Tiruchirappalli. It was started in the year 1986. Uh, For years, incubation stayed a modest campus-bound experiment, but it took someone like Professor Junjunwala at IIT Madras to build affordable India first deep tech ventures, and he proved that incubation could produce real companies, real jobs, real scale, and not just paperwork. As of 2024, IITM-RP, India's first and top university research park, has supported 374 startups with a valuation of approximately 48,000 crores. So this park is a place where students, faculty, and researchers, as well as startups, could collaborate with industry professionals and provide an impact in the startup ecosystem. Then there was IITM IC, which was started. IITM-IC created history. The global failure rate of startups was 90% as of 2022, but IITM-IC housed at IITM-RP has demonstrated a high success rate of 80% and only 20% of the startups failed to survive. The minds behind this is Dr. Tamasruti Ghosh, CEO of IIT Madras Incubation Cell, and we have Ms. Jayalakshmi Umadikar as the Chief Incubation Officer. And these are the staggering numbers: 567 startups, a total valuation of 74,000 crores, and jobs created, the impact is 13,000, more than 13,000. IITM IZ is one of our long-standing customers, and Winos is actually one of the IITM IC incubated startup, and we are in the heart of it all. These are some success stories you would have definitely heard. Aether Energy, they revolutionized the Indian two-wheeler market by building premium smart electric scooters. Agnikul Cosmos, they made history by launching the world's first single-piece 3D printed rocket engine. Then we have Galaxy Space, Unifo, Medibuddy, Cell apps, and so on. So, since we are at the heart of the ecosystem, we work with all of these stakeholders. Okay, we saw how the top Indian incubator looks like and the top IIT Madras Research Park looks like. But what is the overall situation in terms of the Indian incubator ecosystem? Let me pull out some stats. Only 8.2% of Indian startups currently go through incubation, despite India having more than 1,100 plus active incubators. And just 10% of the incubators support 98% of all the incubated startups, meaning many of the incubators are just barely utilized. And there is not because the incubator does not have capacity, it is because of lack of awareness about the incubators. India's incubator density is zero point 0.8 per million population compared to 8 to 10 per million in US, UK, and China. We are roughly 10x behind. Despite the low utilization, when startups do get incubated, the effect is really strong. The incubated startups are 2.5 times more likely to secure funding within a year, and they live 15% longer before shutting down. Where did I pull all these stats from? These stats are from the India Incubator Kaleidoscope Report 2024. This comprehensive report emphasizes the essential role incubators play in fostering innovation, supporting startup growth, and contributing to the overall economic development of the nation. The minds behind this report are top voices. We have the founder, Professor Rajan, the head of CREST, and Professor Srivadini Keja, chairperson of NSR Cell, the incubator arm of IIM Bangalore, and she is also a professor of entrepreneurship at IIM Bangalore. Okay, I'll be going lightly a bit off track here. Do you know the story of human evolution? It all started with finding fire in the Stone Age. Then humans started teaching others how to make fire. The next big revolution was the wheel revolution. But as humans, we are smart. We continue the invention or discovery from where we left off. We humans are amazing creatures, aren't we? So, to all the incubators out there, isn't the best way to learn is to learn from the challenges faced by the top incubators, see how they tackle them, and also implement the same in your incubator? So, for the same, we have compiled all the top challenges that an incubator faces. We have categorized it into two. One is the startup related challenges, and the second is the incubator related challenges. Let's go one by one. The first one, the incubators face challenge in identifying a startup and also sourcing quality startups. Second, getting contacts of angel investors and VCs, that is access to the investor ecosystem, is a challenge. Third, mentor sourcing, how to identify the right mentors from relevant sectors for your startups at the right stage of their journey. Next, making startups commercially ready and scalable. How to help your startups develop business acumen. So that is a challenge that many incubators face for their startups. Then we'll look at the incubator related challenges, uh, how to benchmark your incubator, and the awareness or the marketing for the incubator is actually very less. Then the incubators face a lot of challenge in governance and staffing gaps. That is, there's a difficulty in finding staffs with real startup experience. Then we have the incubator funding and financing problem. Sector 8 incubators depend on grants and they do not have the knowledge on how to sustain themselves in the long run. We have wide quality disparity among incubators. Since there is a lack of standard operating procedures for incubators, this leads to different incubators with different skill set in supporting their startups. Now we have all these challenges here. Let's see, we have representation from all over India on this webinar here. We will be launching a Zoom poll right now and you can actually answer. You already have 23 responses, 50% of your answered. Percent have answered. And we'll be ending the poll in 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and we are ending it. So let's see the results. So 59% of you actually, when it comes to the top problem, we have the incubator funding and financial sustainability. So that's the top challenge at 65%. The next challenge we have sourcing startups and identifying them. Then how to make startups commercially ready and scalable. So that's the second challenge. And the next comes to benchmarking. Okay. And access to the investor ecosystem. Yes, that is an important challenge. So let's see. Thank you so much for responding. Now we will see on an overview level how to tackle each of these challenges. In the interest of time, we'll be focusing on the top 5 challenges here till the benchmarking. So let's go. So the first challenge is identifying a startup and the sourcing methodology. So the challenge that you face is there are from the inception as you go forward, there is a number of declining and repetitive applications. This problem is majorly faced in rural tier 2 and tier 3 city founders as conventional outreach methods like ads, publishing them on Facebook, Instagram, and so on falls short. So, what does Agricultural Extension in South Asia recommend? AESA conducted a national workshop on reimagining India's agri incubation ecosystem 2026. There, they are actually recommending to explore many scouting mechanisms designed specifically to reach rural and underserved founder pools. So, what it means is you have to look for multiple sourcing options, and there are so many tools out there. So that is a knowledge that is specifically you will have to explore and strategize around this is what they recommend. Second, first we saw about the sourcing methodology. Second, we need to identify the startups, right? So for that, let's look at a high level on startup benchmark scorecard. So these are the 5 factors that top 5 factors that an incubator needs to check before incubating a startup. The founder market fit. Do they deeply understand the problem or is this opportunistic? Problem validation and market size timing. Is this a real painful problem in a market big enough and ready now? Third, traction and validation. Are there any existing users, pilots, letter of intent signed, paying customers? however small. Then the team composition. Do they have the right technical, business, and domain balance within the team? And are they full time and committed? And finally, but not the least, does this startup sector align with your incubator's focus and the available support that you have in your incubator? So these are the solutions or the factors that you need to check for it before incubating a startup. So we'll move on to the next challenge, access to the investor ecosystem. So what happens typically is incubators go and reach out to investors only when the startup pitch deck is ready and they are pitch ready. They do not maintain a long-term sustained investor relationship. So they mainly rely on ad hoc introductions at the last minute rather than having a structured pipeline for the investor. The next challenge is mentor sourcing. The finding the right mentors at the right sector stage is actually harder because there are lots of generalists out there. So this is a major challenge that incubators face when they are supporting their startups. So what is the solution? Professor Anand Sri Ganesh, director and ex-CEO of NSR Cell in Bangalore. What does he say? He says what really transforms startups is access to NSR Cell's ecosystem, where they anchor mentors, IMB faculty, they enable peer learning, investor connects, and business hygiene sessions on finance, legal, and compliance. So these are continuous activity that an incubator need to focus. So, okay, we need to focus on getting investor connects and mentors, but what are the activities that you need to do? So these are the top three activities for investors and mentors. Quarterly demo day. So instead of reaching out on an ad hoc basis, what the incubator needs to do is organize curated investor ready pitch sessions so they see a consistent flow of vetted opportunities, not just one of us. The second, your incubator needs to do portfolio update newsletters where they share regular updates on the incubator wide progress like funding raised, exits, notable wins, and so on. Then, last but not the least, co-investor introductions and speaker sessions. You need to enable them to network within your incubator, and you have to conduct a lot of sessions like sector specific sessions, speaker sessions, founder sessions, and this gives a perception to the investor and the mentor that the events that incubator organizes is a valuable for networking and not just a startup pipeline for them. So, how does your incubator currently connect startups with mentors and investors? Do you do dedicated demo days or pitch events? Do you do warm intros via your mentor and alumni network? Do you do investor and mentor sessions, or it is ad hoc as opportunities arises, or you do not have a structured process? Let's see by launching a Zoom poll out of the representation here. 4 and 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The poll ends now. Let's see the results. So yes, many incubators actually do dedicated demo days and pitch events, and they do a lot of investor and mentor sessions. See, like warm intros via mentor and alumni networks, that is an untapped potential because warm networking through mentor and capitalizing on mentor and alumni network is a very big thing that you can actually capitalize on. So let's move on to the next challenge. So, what is the next challenge? Making startups commercially ready and scalable. So, most startups easily reach the technical readiness level before commercial readiness level. And incubators are really strong on early stage handholding, but they tend to need more expertise in helping startups survive the seed to Series A transition. So, what does NASCOM recommend? NASCOM Indian Tech Startup Report 2025 recommends to build stronger commercialization pathways and transition capital support into the incubation model. What does this mean? NASCOM recommends value readiness playbook in this report, momentum to maturity. So they suggest to tackle the startups depending upon the stage that they are in. If they are an early stage startup, they need basic financial hygiene, they need to validate their unit economics, and they must have the knowledge to secure IP and legal foundations. Second, in the growth stage, they need to achieve cash flow break even. They need to strengthen their governance through the appointment of independent directors, and they need to conduct proactive simulated due diligence. And in the late stage, they need to achieve comprehensive governance maturity, and they need to align with international reporting standards, and they need to start structuring liquidity mechanisms for talent and early investors. So, do you currently benchmark your incubator's performance against other incubators? Yes, you do it formally. You maybe do it informally or occasionally, or no, you don't benchmark. Because benchmarking is really important to understand where you are and to understand whether your peers are doing better. So let's see through a poll, and the poll will be launched right now. You already have 54% respondent. And we'll be stopping the poll in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And we'll be sharing the poll results right now. We Yes, 23% of you are doing it formally, 45% of you are doing it informally, and no, we don't benchmark. That is 32%. Okay, let's see. We'll look into the next challenge, which is the benchmarking and low utilization awareness. As I mentioned earlier, only 8.2% of India's startup go through incubation at all. Despite 1,100 plus incubators existing, this what it points is to is an access and awareness problem rather than a capacity one. As a part of the giveaway, this is something which I'll give you towards the end of this webinar. Most incubators have no structured way to compare their own performance, the funding rate, survival rate, investor diversity against peers. So let's do a small activity. What I'll be doing in the next slide is I'll be giving you metrics one by one. You can grab a pen and paper, and you can actually, if it's on the top of your mind, you can write the a number for your incubator. So let's go. I'll go as slow as possible. First, we have the percentage of startups funded. By this, what do we mean? The share of your incubated startups that have raised any external funding. This is a direct proxy for how well your selection and support process converts into fundable companies. How do you calculate this? The number of startups funded divided by the total number of incubated startups. Second, we have the total funding raised. Cumulative funding your incubated startups have raised collectively. This signals the real economic weight of your portfolio. Total distinct investors. How many separate investors have backed your startups? A wider base signals stronger investor relationship and less concentration risk. Next, we have VC fund invested, the count. The institutional fund participation specifically separate from angels. This indicates whether your startups are attracting serious growth capital. Third, government schemes access. How many distinct schemes like the EAR, SISFS, TIDE, etc., your incubator or its startups or your startups have successfully tapped? This reflects scheme literacy and grant readiness. Sixth, we have sector concentration. Your top two sectors by startup count. This helps to see you if you are a generalist or a focused sector deep incubator and whether that's intentional. And lastly, number of financing agencies engaged. The banks and financial institutions your startups have access. A debt financing health indicator beyond just equity funding. Just note down these metrics and keep this scorecard handy. One of the three things we are giving away at the end directly ties into what you just built in. So just note it down. And yes, we have covered the top five challenges, and these are the challenges that we'll be looking at later. So, the governance and staffing gaps that you face in terms of getting staffs who actually have direct relevant startup experience. The second challenge, the incubator funding and financing. Your dependency on grant funding for the most of the government schemes, they actually support initially only for the 3 years. So you need to know how to build a self-sustaining revenue model afterward. And the last challenge is there's a wide quality disparity among incubators. Only a small fraction of incubators support the vast majority, that is the 98%. This is not because of a capacity gap, this is because of an awareness gap. But even then, each of the incubator have their own skill sets depending upon the team. How to resolve this disparity? If you are interested in us addressing these three challenges, what we can do is we can do a separate session on a case study of IITM IC on how they tackle these three problems. If you are interested in attending such a webinar, please let us know in this Zoom poll which is going to be launched right now. And we'll be cutting off the poll in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. So let us see the results. Great. 95% of you actually want this poll. So we will try our best to make this happen. So before that, we'll move on to the next section. We'll do a small recommendation. recap. The first challenge, that is sourcing startups and identifying them. We saw the startup benchmarking scorecard and that you need to develop a lot of sourcing methodologies. The second challenge, the access to the investors ecosystem. And the third, the mentor sourcing. For that, in order to engage with investors and mentor sourcing, you need to keep them engaged on a regular basis, not on one-off basis. How can you do this? You can do this through quarterly demo days, portfolio update newsletters, and introducing co-investors and mentors during the speaker sessions that you organize. Next, how do you make startups commercially ready and scalable? We saw the value readiness playbook where you need to help the startups depending upon the stage that they are in. And finally, we saw the challenge how to benchmark through a small benchmarking scorecard. And I told you that I will be giving you a free giveaway on increasing your utilization and awareness of your incubator. A small way in which we could help you out. I actually hear you. All these recommendations are nice, but where do we get the data to verify and find startups, connect with angel investors, and benchmark with incubators? Where do we find right mentors to guide startups to make them commercially ready and scalable? Five challenges and one solution. It's Vinos. Vinos is India's largest information and analytics platform for early stage startups and incubators. So we have been working on this data for 9 years. We have these many profiles captured on our platform. We have 3 lakh plus startups, 5 lakh plus founders, 14,000 angel investors, 6,000 VCs and networks, 1,400 incubators, 100,000 deals that are happening actively in the Indian startup ecosystem. The banks and financial institutions which are actually giving loans specifically to the startups, and 116 government schemes that are applicable for startups and incubators. We have captured them all. And imagine if you go and start and do your research right now, it'll easily take you a longer 1 year or so to get all the networks. But we have been developing this just for you for for the past 9 years. So let me give you a small demonstration of the platform and how it looks like. So this is the first page or the first interface of how this platform looks like. And we have the numbers running here. And we do major monthly updates on a regular basis. So if you click here, you can see the different products that we have: startups, angels, VCs, incubators, government funding, and debt funding. So startups, you have the problem of sourcing startups. We have the information right here. Do you have the problem of finding angel investors and VCs and establishing your investor ecosystem? We have it here. And do you want to benchmark your incubator with other incubators? We have it here. How do you access more government fundings and schemes? We have it here. So these will actually help you. Let me go through them one by one on an overview basis. So this is how a startup profile looks like. One major angle of our platform or major benefit of our platform is the filters, the level at which you can slice and dice the information. We have six major themes here: the startup background, the startup type, the incorporation year, the sector they are in. So you can apply the sector and the subsector. You can also filter it by the startup state, like which state they are in, the district they are in, whether they are already incubated, the business category, and so on. So we have these. Then you can filter based on the founding team. So their state, city, the number of founders, and then the founder education. Based on all of these, you can actually filter. We also have women founders. Then we have revenue and funding. The revenue information, whether they are funded by angel investors, VCs, government schemes, or banks and loans, we have it here. What is their performance in terms of valuation, in terms of startups status, whether they are active or defunct, that you can check. What status they are in. How have they exited? Have they been acquired or do they have an IPO? number of employees, the patterns, the technology readiness level. This is something which you will be interested in, and so on. And we also have the sector based on industry. So, that we have industry. Okay. So if you see here, apologies, I didn't notice that the entire screen wasn't shared. So this is the filter that I was going through. If you can see here, this is the startup background. We have the founding team details. We have the revenues and funding. We have performance. We have the industry and the technology. Okay, we this is how the platform looks like. I'll go back and do this a bit. This is how the platform looks like, and you can click on the products here. There are startups, angels, VCs, and if you click on them, this profile opens. And I was explaining about the filters overall and the level of data that we have. So yes. So what you can do is like I'll apply a filter for the startup state and sector. As you can see, we have 3,31,000 startups represented on our platform, and you can apply the state and you can determine the number of startups in your region. I'll apply the startup state as Tamil Nadu, and let's see how many startups pull up. So we have 20,000 startups from Tamil Nadu. So let's see what a typical profile has. We have the one-liner of the company name and the official name. We have the valuation status, the GSC details, one-liner on the startup, what it is all about. We have a small financial snapshot of the startup's performance, financial performance. We have the public links. We have the key founders and directors. Here, what you can do is like you can right click, you can click the link directly and it will point to their LinkedIn profile through which you can directly reach out to the founders. We also have given a small calculation of the education score and experience score, which will actually help you understand the level or acumen of the founder. We have also highlighted the key focus areas. What are all the prominent incubators and accelerators this particular startup has already incubated in? What are all the major investors and VCs, the government schemes accessed, the financings, banks and financing, all the information we capture. Apart from that, what you can do is like you can see top 10 similar startups that are similar to this particular company, and you will be able to look at it in detail. If you these are all clickable links. These are all clickable links. You can click and it will point to the direct detailed profile of that particular sector, startup, and so on. If you want to view more detailed information about this startup, what you can do is you can click the button here and then you can download the report. So let's see a sample report of how it looks like. So this is a sample lens card report. If you see here, we have the startup overview. I'll go to the details below. Yes, we have the startup overview. We have the key focus areas, the public links, the investment highlights. In the profile, we had a high level information, but here we have more detailed information on the found latest round of investments and so on. We have the founding team mentioned, we have the education score, the acceleration details. See the detailed funding information, we have it here. And apart from that, we also do a we have the year on year financial performance as well. And then we have a comparison with competitive landscapes on different metrics. So comparison on top 10 similar startups that we saw here, we have the founding team comparison, education score, education comparison, the investor comparison, and performance comparison. So this is a detailed report of how it looks like. One other feature is you can directly send a mail by clicking on this link, and through the platform you can directly send a mail to the startup as well. The other feature is you can actually there's a when you look at in the top right corner there's a small bookmark option. You can click on this and then you can bookmark the your favorite startups, and you have a singular view of all your bookmark startups. And this feature will actually be helpful for your outsourcing. Or what you can do is like when we also enable incubators to add their startups to the platform. So we by when it is a startup filling in, if they have the access, they can actually click on here and directly fill the Google form. For incubators who want their startups getting updated on our platform, we share a report, Excel format, and then we will ask you to fill it up, and we will get that information and represent them on our platform. So let's move on to the next section. We have the angels. So similar to the interface is the same. So we have different filters by which you can actually look at the angel investors. So let me dive directly into the profile. If you see here, we have the name of the investor, we have the activity snapshot of that particular investor, we have a description, whether they are Winos connected and responsive. That is a good metric because how many of them are responsive, that is a very big factor. And how whether they have shared any links to connect with them, that we have mentioned, the prominent investment areas, their experience overall. Because if you are able to connect with any one of them, then you can actually establish connect or some kind of rapport with the investor. Then what are all the prominent investments in this startups that is listed here? But you can actually see it by different filters. Startup sector, you can see it by city, you can see it by round size. So this is actually really helpful. And then we have key focus areas, and who are all the angel investors this particular investor has jointly invested with, and who have participated in the subsequent rounds. So after Vikas Chaudhary, who have all participated in the subsequent investment round of the particular startup. Similarly, you can download a detailed report and send a mail via the platform itself. And if you are a startup who actually have this login, what we do is like we have built a recommendation engine. So what it does is like if you at the time of registration, it will ask the startup details, and based on that, I have filled a dummy company called Navi Sites. For that, it suggests automatically 30 potential investors. The match percentage is there, and this actually increases the chance of success of getting angel investor investment. Now, let's go to the next profile. Similarly, we have the VC's profile, we have the financial activities, we have the one-liner, we have public links, the investment areas, kind of similar to the angel investor profile. Then you can also download a detailed report here. Then yes, this is something you have been looking for. How can you do a kind of like a benchmarking, right? So this is a incubator profile that we have. So what happens is like where do we get the information for incubators? What we do is like we go and scout through all the public data that incubators have provided on your website. And also we directly interact with incubators and get the data too. So what's the benefit of that? So when incubators are represented on our platform, we have a weekly visit of 16,000. This actually approximates to almost 7 lakh 80,000 visits in a year. Free visibility. So you can see here, let's see what are the details that we have about an incubator. These are the three top themes of the filters that we have. We have the incubator state, city, host type, the startup supported, and the incubator performance. So we saw these metrics earlier, the number of startups, funded startups, total investors, and so on. We'll see what are all the typical data in an incubator profile. It's the name, where they are founded, their publicly posted contact information, a snapshot, financial snapshot of their performance, one liner, the public links. What are all the recognitions, government department recognitions, and fundings of this particular incubator, what are all the prominent startups supported, the key focus areas, the schemes, the angel investors, the VCs associated with this, and banks associated with it. If you want to have a detailed idea on this incubator activity, you can actually click on download PDF, and you'll be able to see the detailed report of that incubator. What does this have? This actually has very detailed information on what are all the startups there, whether they are funded, what are all the sectors they are in. All this information we have on this report. And one of the key interesting features, how you can benchmark what you can apply filters and determine the incubators that you want to benchmark. What you need to do is, like, you can click on add to compare. I've already added four incubators for comparison. And if you see here, you'll be able to see a high level view of the incubator profile. The incubator type, location, founded year, the number of incubated startups, the angel investors, all these you can see. And this high level view gives you an idea of your performance, and you can benchmark with your peers. So this is an interesting feature, and we are always ready to support you. And if you need more metrics to be included in the benchmarking, you can let us know in the feedback, and or you can mail to sales@winos.co.in, and we'll be able to help you out. And let's move on to the next profile. We have the government funding. So you can apply the scheme type. You can see based on the startup sector supported, the founders, investment pattern. And based on this, you can actually analyze what are all the sectors that government scheme supported, and we have all these details here. We have the government schemes with the financial performance, the one-liner on description of what this particular scheme does. We have all the links. So if you want to do a deep dive research on what this government scheme does for you for the startups, you can actually browse through by applying the filters on the startup and on the platform, and you can determine them. So yes, similar to other profiles, you have problem startup supported, key focus areas, uh, what are all the startups, investors who are associated with this particular scheme, what are all the financing institutions, and you can see a detailed report here. Similar to this, we have the debt funding too. Banks and financial institutions which actually finance to startups specifically, we have detailed profile of them as well. Interesting, right? So this is what we have been building for the past years. We have also worked with a lot of government agencies. We created, since we have the data, we have created curated dashboards for BIRAC and Department of Biotechnology. This is a dashboard giving the overall summary of the biotechnology startups across India. This is a dashboard that we built for the higher education institutions, for the Ministry of Education, to how they can measure the impact of an education institute on the startup ecosystem. So we have a detailed dashboard here. We have built one for the government of Tamil Nadu to monitor the district-wise progress on the startup. So startup impact. And then we built one for the Ministry of Textiles as well. I guess this is an interesting feature that you will love. How to access this? You can click on products and click on insight. This will be the landing page that you'll be landing on. If you click on explore now, what happens is it moves to a detailed page on which helps you play around with the data and get insights on the Indian startup ecosystem overall. So as you can see in the background, there's startups, angels, VCs, government schemes, debt funds. So let's see. We have the startup type, incorporation year, startup sector, angel funding. Based on these, you can actually filter out and then determine the insights. So let's apply a startup sector and see what happens. So we are looking at currently the agri-tech and farming sector. The total number of startups is 18,000, total investments, secured loans, average age, what is the founding team, where is the density from? We see that it is from Maharashtra. And when is the incorporation year? Many of them comes from 2024. And what are all these startups? If you click here, it will go to the detailed profile of that particular startup as well. It is directly linked. And these are the startups that we see. What are the age and incorporation, angels and VCs, and so on. So this is actually a very interesting dashboard. So yes, so we saw a brief demonstration of the platform and how you can utilize it. What? How do you deal with mentors sourcing and how do you deal with workshops? We have these why not services. We have workshops and trainings. We do standalone workshops. We do half a day boot camps. We do hackathons, startup competitions, and we do demo day, kind of like pitch events that you see on the right. We do Shark Tank style pitch events where we bring in investors and evaluate your startups. We do a first round of evaluation and then we help them pitch in front of startups. Bharat Techs is an event which happened in Delhi last year, 2025, where we got 70 applications, and out of that, we selected 12 and made them pitch in the event, helping them enable investments. From Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji, he himself graced the event. We did an event in 2026. Vinos Gladiator in collaboration with DBS. Here, what we did is we did a AI edition, a scale up AI edition. So we have a testimonial. Before we go there, what happens is that we have almost reached the part where I'll be announcing you the free giveaways. We have a testimonial from a long-standing customer for the past few years. Dr. Tamaswati Ghosh, the CEO of IITM IC. As one of India's largest incubator with over 140 deep tech startups, we are keenly aware of the challenges faced by early stage technology entrepreneurs. Services offered by Winos are addressing some of these critical issues, and I am confident that they will create a strong impact on the entrepreneurial ecosystem in this country, is what she says. Who are all our clients? We have IIM Bangalore, IIT Madras, IIM Visakhapatnam, IIM Trichy, XLRI. We also have foreign universities like University of the Fraser Valley and so on, and Harvard as well, the University of Western Australia as well. When it comes to incubators, we have the IITM IC, we have AICDSU Innovation Foundation, we have Venture Center, we have T-Hub. T-Hub is an independent incubator, and so on. We have also worked with various government, Ministry of Education, Ministry of Textiles, CII, GoTN, Kerala Startup Mission, and so on. We have worked with a lot of corporates and investors. HDFC, DBS, Interest Family Offices and Investor, 314 Capital. These are TVS Capital. So these are all the investors that we have worked with. We are a complete package. We have worked with all the ecosystem players. So without further ado, let me jump to the three giveaways. Thank you so much for staying till the end. These are the giveaways that we are giving. First, we are sending everyone here a free copy of the Indian Incubator Kaleidoscope report. This report will actually give you an overall idea of the impact of incubators and how you can. This will give you an overview of the overall Indian incubator impact on the ecosystem. Second, as a thank you for staying, we will list and represent your incubator and your startups on Winos for free. So your incubator becomes visible to investors and founders across the country. As I mentioned, we have 7.8 lakhs visits over every year. Third, everyone here today gets free 3-day trial access to the full Winos platform. You can go ahead and use this incubator benchmark scorecard and try to benchmark yourself. For accessing all these, what we are asking for is a simple feedback. Fill this feedback form to avail the three giveaways before EOD today, and we will mail you further details on how you can avail these. You will receive a mail, and uh, you can take your time. We'll be sending this feedback form to you via mail as well. And if you fill this before EOD, we will be enabling all these giveaways by Monday. We are not done yet. What we are doing for you is like if you are further interested in exploring why not and you have some unaddressed queries, uh, you can actually book a personalized meeting with us, and we are making ourselves available from 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. next week to give a detailed demo and also see if you are interested in our product. Here is the demo. Here is the demo link where you can book. This session wouldn't have been possible if we do not have a strong team to do. So we have Boni, Director of Business Development in this meeting. And then we have Sivanesh, the Growth Executive. And then we also have Rinku, our Customer Success Manager, who will be guiding you through the process on further steps that you are engaged with. Thank you so much. I'm giving you a reminder once again. We would actually love to collaborate and work with you because changing the startup landscape of India is a team effort. So we would love to collaborate you in any way possible. So feel free to reach out to us. We are opening the floor for Q&A, and then just a reminder, you can fill the feedback form to avail the three giveaways, and you can book the link through this book a demo through this link. Thank you so much for staying till the end. And the floor is open for feedback Q&A. You can raise your hand and I'll call you out. And what we are requesting you is like you can share with us your name, the incubation center you are from. Tell us how this session was, and then you can go ahead and ask your question. So how you can access the raise option, hand raise option is click on the react button, and once you click on the react button, you can raise your hand and you can ask your questions. Okay, we have a question from Mr. Shankar. Can you please turn on your video and you can ask your question, please?
Hello. Hello.
Hi, Shankar. Yes, we are able to hear you.
Yes, yes. Hi, Shaktival. The session is great. The one more thing is you start the session with the free, mention that free webinar, and I'm not accepting that this is not a free. What means is we spending time. This is a marketing funnel, the webinar model, and don't mention the word free. And you benchmarking IIT, IIM, but here the most of incubators are operating from tier 2 and tier 3 cities, and we have very limited resources, not like IIT, IIM. And our budget spending for the whole year is within the budget of 10 lakhs, 15 lakhs, something like that. We not compete with that, not benchmarking as IIT, IIM. We have limited resources, and we have very limited resources. We have the team of one or two maybe, and we working full time to making startups viable, connecting with investors. We have tons of load of work, and give a yeah, simple accessible platforms for people who are operating from tier 2 and tier 3 cities of incubators.
Yes. Okay, I get your question, sir. So I let me reframe your question. What you are trying to address is your like may I know your incubation name as well? Like where are you from?
Yes, yeah. My
Hi,
incubation
thank you
is
so much for switching on your video as well. Yes.
yes, yes. KSRC, Council for Innovation and Incubation. and we are operating from Tiruchenvodu. And I'm in the incubation area of almost 2 years. Before that, I was a founder. I run startups, and I'm also in the DST funded program. And now I am heading without any funding schemes from the governments. Uh, we operating from startup team pre-incubation program. That is our whole view of our startup, our incubation center.
Right. Got it. So yes, let me reframe your question so that I understand it better. So what you're saying is like you have limited resources and you are based out of a tier two or a tier three city, which is actually becoming difficult for you to like help grow your incubation team, and your incubator is what you are trying to see. So let me address that. So this is a challenge that we actually understand that incubators are facing. Overall, if you see the overall startup ecosystem, there are not so many players who are there to actually support incubator. So why not we started with a mission of helping or standardizing the overall startup ecosystem, which is entirely unstructured right now.
Yes,
So
yes. What I
we
want to say is the one structure frame is not fit for the people who are operating from our side. That is not a one frame which is fit for all. You saying that the frame is fit for all. That's not a fine.
Can you be more specific on why do you think that is? Because
Yes,
see,
yes. You
yes,
you
please.
always benchmarking IITs, IIM. You don't think in the perspectives of the people who are operating from lower end. You always benchmarking IIT, IIM. They are operating last 3 decades. Nearly 30 years they're running incubation centers, accelerator programs. They have tons of fundings, alumni networks. We are not like
Okay,
that.
the
Yeah.
question.
If I may
So
just
what?
come in, Shakti.
Yes, please.
Hi, Shankar. I'm Bonnie. I head business development at Binance Venture Engine. Thank you so much for that very transparent and very candid remark. It's absolutely true. What Shakti was attempting to do was to when we always whenever we're benchmarking against the best, right? But considering that aside, that apart, we completely agree that it might not be relevant. All of us are working with different resources. The availability of resources in terms of funds, team, there's a limitation there with respect to each incubator, so we completely understand that. And that said, I also want to mention that Vinos as a platform, we've worked over the last 9 years. IITMs, IIMs are there, but we've also worked with multiple tier two, tier three institutes from these universities like towns like Salem, in tier two, tier three towns. So we are there, we're here. We would love to continue this conversation offline, have a one-on-one with you to try and understand what are the specific constraints that you are facing, and given the constraints, how can we help so that your entrepreneurs can then move from the current level to the next level, right? Because everyone's journey is unique in that sense, so we completely understand that, and we would love to take this conversation ahead with you. Sure. Shakti, please go ahead.
Yes, thank you so much, Boni, and thank you so much, Shankar, for putting out your query. What? Who else do we have? We have. Do we have any more questions going forward? Like, please don't
Questions,
by any.
comments, we would love to hear it. You have stayed back till way towards the, even after the session has ended, I think you've continued to stay back, so we very much appreciate it. Any feedback, any comments, questions, floor is open completely.
So we have Aditya Punja who have actually raised his hand. Please unmute yourself and go ahead and ask your question.
Yeah. Am I audible to you? Give me a
Yes,
second.
you are. You are. Can I
Let me.
maybe request you to switch on your
Yes, yes,
video, please? Yes.
yes. I'm connecting my webcam. Give me a second.
Please take it in. Yes.
Yeah, I think I'm visible now, right?
Yes, you are. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah. So couple of things. So I went to the website that you have designed, right? I feel like so. I think Shankar sir already mentioned the tier two, tier three city. So I'm the business development executive at AIC Nitya Incubation Center. We are at tier three. Okay, we are based in tier three, but we are also having access to ecosystem, the Mangaluru Udupi ecosystem. That is a tier two ecosystem in Karnataka. Okay.
Mm.
Now, the biggest problems in this area, right? So you have a standardized system. So one of the things that Shankar sir already mentioned is that we always benchmark with IIT IIMs. So we have an ecosystem. We have an NIT here close by NITK. We have a Manipal ecosystem, right? Now these ecosystems have enough funding, but they are also closed source, very closed source. So there are many entrepreneurs who we support, right? So
Mm.
the UNOS search engine, whatever you have said, right, the reports and all that, yes, it's good that you have so much data. The UI is, I feel the UI is a bit more complex. Sometimes too much data is also a bad thing. Okay, so I
Mm.
come from a data analysis background. I also come
Right.
from an AI background, right? So you
Mm.
had so much metrics, so many things on the UI,
Got
right?
it.
As
Mm.
an engineer, as a front end like person who has used customer journey, right? We tell startups to keep the UI simple. I feel,
Right, right,
right?
right, right.
So too many data points, we didn't know what to
Mm.
focus on, right?
Right.
So, and I don't think startups, especially when you're talking about small scale ecosystems, the teams are always lean, right?
Mm.
So IIT, IIMs, they might have their own team that goes, they might have a team that actually researches startups, right? They have a
Mm.
dedicated team to onboard startups, to do a background check. But we, as tier three ecosystem, we don't have enough funding to do that. Okay,
Got it.
so that is
Mm.
one thing. So now, when you're giving again so much data for us to go through, that
Mm.
means we are giving a lot. Like today, for example, this meeting, I'm spending 1.5 hour of time for this, right? So
Right.
now this is actually a valuable time. We have 13 startups to handle and all that, right? So it might be we could have conducted a mentorship session at this point of time as well.
Mm.
So we
Mm.
need to consider all that. So that is what I would tell you. Like, so if you can streamline the UI, right, so that I can look at it in a much simpler terms. So I
Right.
think like there were a lot of data points. I think at one point I lost like, okay, what is happening? Like too many things on the screen. I don't know where to focus. So
Right.
and also the startups that you discussed, right? Those are all successful startups.
Mm.
They had come from venture capitalists, right?
Mm.
VCs
Mm.
and everything. So
Mm.
we would have liked some startups that have actually come from incubation, be it AIM, be it like the Startup Industry Fund, be it from the Elevate pipeline. Because government
Mm.
funding is a totally different ballgame than the venture capitalist funding. And we have
Right.
noticed time and time again that VCs don't touch startups unless and until they're in revenue.
Mm. 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 Mm.
Unless and until you're an IITN and IM, they can get early stage. But tier two, tier three, this is the reality. Unless and until they're generating revenue, VCs don't touch it. That
Right.
means they have to sustain in government funding. Okay.
Mm.
When
Mm.
it comes to software based, AI based, it takes 1 year.
Right.
1 year you can do it. But hardware based, the journey is longer journey. It is 6, 7 years of journey, and they are sustaining. No VC is ready to touch it.
Mm.
So, but if you look at like in India, how many IITs are there? How many tier two, tier three cities are there? Most of, right? So the I think the point that you're trying to make is like, yes, the startup success, why the startups are succeeding, and I think this is one more point that most of the VCs only focus on IIT IIM graduates, and but there are many other capable people coming from different backgrounds.
Right.
So
Right.
I think if you can make those things as well, like for example, AIM evaluation as well. When AIM evaluates the startups, they actually consider whether you're from tier two and tier three. They're coming up with a new metric DST when if you're from tier two, tier three, you're less harshly judged, and then if you're tier one, then your metrics are more harshly judged.
Right.
So
Right.
you need to have that as well in your system. I think government is already doing that, right? Maybe so. This is one of the feedbacks that I wanted to give you. I think I sat for the entire session, so might as well give some feedback.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think Shankar
Like that.
Shankar sir covered brilliantly whatever I had in my mind. Thank you, sir, for putting it across.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
So yes, okay. As thank you so much for this detailed feedback. And what we are trying to do is something we are trying to, in our own way, we are actually trying to address these challenges. And as you rightly mentioned, the attention on tier 2 and tier 3 cities are lower. And this is one kind of a activity that we are trying to do in order to tap and help tier 2 and tier 3 cities. Because I'll give you an insight. More than 51% of startups, founders, and startups overall of the stats that we have, 3 lakh, more than 51% is actually from tier 2 and tier 3. So that is something which we determined, and we want to focus on incubators who are in tier 2 and tier 3 cities, and we are trying to assess by we will be able to create more products and the market depending upon the feedback loop, because that is what we are trying to do by doing these kind of sessions. And so the feedback that you gave is really valuable. And apart from this, we have already, as Boni mentioned, we have worked with a lot of tier 2 and tier 3 incubators as well. We have done curated investor events for tier 2 and tier 3 cities, where we brought investors from Chennai and various places. And depending upon the region and the sector that startup incubator focused in, we have done such events as well for tier 2 and tier 3 cities. And the platform, if you see, as I mentioned to you, we actually capture information across. We have overall, if you see the number of incubators that we have captured is 1 lakh for, sorry, 1457. So we capture all tier 2 and tier 3 cities as well. You can actually benchmark your incubator too. But given that we need that information directly from you, where do we source this information? The right source would be directly from the incubator, right? So we need to establish connects with the incubator. This is such an activity. You can see here all the cities that we have. So you can apply any city, and it can be a tier 1 or a tier 2 or a tier 3 city. We have those information. Maybe I can show it to you in the startup profile. Let me show you. So since we have data on all the startup, depending upon the state, can you maybe suggest a tier 2 or tier 3 city, state and a city? Like I can.
Search for Mangalore and Karnataka. Karnataka, Mangalore.
Okay.
Karnataka.
Let me go for Karnataka
Dakshina
and
Kannada. Dakshina Kannada, I think, is the district.
district.
Dakshina Kannada.
Uh,
Not Bengaluru. Not Bengaluru. Bengaluru
Dakshina
is a
Kannada.
tier
Oh,
one.
okay, got it. Okay, got it. So we have 517 startups mentioned here.
Mhm.
And we have information on key focus areas, but these information too, it will depend on how structured these startups have represented information and submitted information on the website. On the Because we have a full-time data team of 8 members who are working on validating the data and uploading them on our platform. So it depends upon the level of information that the startup publicly declares to, and also in official sources. We source information directly from DPIIT, MCA. We also work with a lot of data partners as well in for sourcing these information. You can see here these are startups from the tier 2 and tier 3 city. Like we have 517 startups. So what we are the challenge that we are trying to tackle is trying to organize the entirely unstructured data, and that's why we are confident in suggesting you that you can use this as a startup discovery tool for your identification process. Uh, I hope that answered your question, Aditya, and we have noted down your feedback as well, and we will try to work on the UI UX angle as well. That was
No,
a very
the
valuable.
data was not the problem. The data is
Mm,
good, what you have.
mm,
I felt
mm,
the representation like it was like
mm.
bombarding like too many data
Right,
analytics.
right.
Yeah, so that is
Yeah.
what I
If I may just come in, Aditya, thank you so much for
yeah.
that feedback. I think on the data part, you're right. There's because we're working on immense amount of data, right? It makes sense for us to make it more user friendly. To be honest, even when we came in, personally, when I joined Vinos itself, it was too overwhelming to sort of understand all of that data, the charts, the so completely with you. But what I also want to say is that if we can have another round of discussion, we would be there to handhold you to specifically understand. We would not just leave you with the platform and let you independently deal with it. We are here to sort of guide you through it. For example, one thing that you mentioned was VCs not being very interested in hardware. While that is very largely true,
No,
right?
no, no,
The
no,
platform
no,
will.
no. That was not my point. I
Mhm.
said VCs are not interested in startups that are not
Yes,
into revenue. So
not
that
into
is the
revenue, right?
yeah. So
Right.
that was my point.
Got it. So the on the platform, there is a product called VCs and Angel Networks for institutional investors. There's also one called Angels, as Shakti had mentioned, for individual investors. So there you can actually filter out looking specifically for investors who've previously invested in startups that are pre-revenue, right?
Okay.
So because largely the trend is that VCs invest in safe bets, right? So post-revenue software, as an example. You can also find these niche investors through the platform. It helps you discover those investors. So you also don't waste time, and the startups also don't waste time going after VCs who are anyway not going to be interested in startups that don't fit their thesis. So we will help you identify those specific startups. So you save time, money. So you're much more efficient in that VC discovery process. And you're absolutely right. I think it's very easy for us to sit at ITM Research Park, as part of the incubation cell, sit in silos and talk about benchmarking. But we also recognize that if the startup ecosystem has to evolve, it has to be across India, right? We can't be sitting in these silos and making these presentations, which is why we're inviting, we would love to work with incubators across India. It doesn't matter which city they're from. So we'd urge you to sort of book a session with us so that we can come back, specifically talk about the challenges that your incubator faces and see how we can close that gap.
So
Thank you. Thank you.
thank you for that.
Thank you so much for staying till the end.
Yeah, sure.
Like, finally, do we have any more questions? Please raise your hand. If we do not have it, thank you so much. We'll be ending the session, but we'll be waiting for just one more minute. If you have a question, you can please raise your hands. Yes, Vijay. Thank you so much for raising your hand. Please unmute yourself, switch on your video, introduce yourself, where you're from, and then you can go ahead and ask your question.
Hi there, myself Vijay Balasundar from Chennai.
Hi, Vijay. Yes.
Hi there. Actually, in my past few years, I started some more businesses, and now I'm doing as a cinematographer and join with my friend in Chidambaram. He started a FOC in Chidambaram, founders of Chidambaram. Actually, he worked in 2 more years in an incubator center in Kadlur.
Right, right.
The question asked, they asked, as I mentioned now, because I have some more business ideas. Some of the VCs are ready to do for my startups. For
Right.
example, I want to become a social entrepreneur. I want to change the society. In case if I pitch my ideas with the why not, maybe it's work or not.
Okay, I get your question. So you are a startup, you are based out of Chidambaram, and
Yeah,
you are asking whether you can actually submit some kind of presentation, or will you be will we be able to guide you through the process, is what you're asking, if
yeah,
I'm.
definitely.
Got it. So yes, Vijay, we do actually work with a lot of startups. We work with startups, investors, VCs across segments, as you said. So at the moment for startups, we are working directly through incubators. But at Wynos, what we do is like we do organize pitch events, workshops, webinars, and going forward. For that, what you need to do is like you can log into our platform and do a free registration. There is an option for sign up. If you go there, you will be able to get future newsletter updates on what is happening, and through that, we will be able to get participate in such events. So these events will span across different. There are different kinds of events. There are pitch events. There are webinar sessions where we guide you on how to finance, how to do legal structures. These will be coming in the upcoming months. So you can participate in that and join us and grow. So this is what I would suggest for you, Vijay. And maybe I can
Sure.
share the screen and show how you can register on the platform. Just 1 minute. So what you can do is you can click on sign up for free, and then you can fill in the details. Your role is a startup founder. You can download and see, you can log in, and then you can fill the startup details. You'll be able to access the platform. Once you submit this information, you'll have your email address, and you'll be getting email updates in the upcoming months on what are the activities that are happening. So this will be helpful for you.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Vijay. Yes. So yes, that was the final question. And thank you so much all for being here. We at Voinos, we are trying our best to help you out in any way possible. Uh, so please, like you can go ahead and book a meeting link. The meeting links are in the chat. You can book a link and then come talk to us personally. And we are ready to work with you, understand the market problems, and develop solutions. Because since we are in ITM IC, we can get all the networks and develop solutions as well for you. And thank you so much for this for staying till at the end of the session. The session extended by an half an hour. Apologies for that, but you stayed till the end. So thank you so much. Looking forward to working with you. We have a question in chat from Manvi Chabra. Yes, we will be sending you all the details of the feedback form, the Calendly booking link, as well as the Zoom recording by the end of the day today. So yes, so hope that answers your question. And thank you so much once again for everyone for staying till the end.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Hoping to catch up one on one and take this discussion forward. Thank you.